Many Americans do not realize that the United States government is among the largest holders of Bitcoin. Does anyone know that? How about that? The federal government has almost 210,000 Bitcoin, or 1% of the total supply that will ever exist. But for too long, our government has violated the cardinal rule that every Bitcoiner knows by heart. Never sell your Bitcoin, right? Never sell your Bitcoin. And so, as the final part of my plan today, I am announcing that if I am elected, it will be the policy of my administration, United States of America, to keep 100% of all the Bitcoin the U.S. government currently holds or acquires into the future. We'll keep 100%. I hope you do well, please. This will serve in effect as the core of the strategic national Bitcoin stockpile.
Donald Trump's declaration about holding on to the government's Bitcoin is a groundbreaking shift, one that signals a potential future where Bitcoin becomes a core reserve asset for the United States. But as Anthony Pompliano wisely points out, this announcement may have some major economic implications. After all, if you're savvy about wealth preservation, you don't usually broadcast your intentions to invest in a scarce asset like Bitcoin.
So you think in the first 30 days, one of the first things he should do is establish this strategic reserve?
If you're an economic actor, you would buy the Bitcoin and then tell everyone that you bought it. You wouldn't tell everyone you're going to buy it and then let everyone else go buy it before you, right? That's true. The problem is that when you're campaigning, you got to tell people why they should elect you. What is your plan? And so he's already let the cat out of the bag that he's going to go buy Bitcoin. And so it's important that we do it because other countries right now are buying. We know El Salvador is buying. They have a public website that literally shows how much they're buying every day. We know the country of Bhutan has $1 billion of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. There are other countries who have not yet announced they're buying as well. If the United States wants to be the leader, they have to go buy Bitcoin.
Pompliano notes that Trump had to reveal his Bitcoin stockpiling plan to gain votes, but in doing so, he let the cat out of the bag. This disclosure gives nations like El Salvador, already buying Bitcoin, a strategic advantage. By signaling the U.S.'s intentions, Trump may have intensified the global race for digital reserves, potentially accelerating Bitcoin adoption as countries rush to secure their economic position. When considering Bitcoin as a potential reserve asset, we can draw a compelling parallel to how the United States manages its gold reserves. The U.S. Treasury holds massive amounts of gold, primarily stored at Fort Knox and the New York Fed, as a safeguard against economic uncertainty and as a means of supporting national financial stability. But what if the U.S. Treasury applied a similar approach to Bitcoin? Just as gold serves as a hedge and a store of value, Bitcoin could theoretically fulfill the same role in a modern, digital form. With its decentralized nature and fixed supply, Bitcoin is already being viewed by many as digital gold. The question is, could the U.S. Treasury one day store Bitcoin alongside gold as part of its reserve assets? In El Salvador, President Nayib Bukele has directed the use of government funds, sourced from state revenues and international financial support, to purchase Bitcoin. These acquisitions are managed by state-run trusts, like the Bandezel Development Bank.
El Salvador is sitting on $84 million in profit from its Bitcoin holdings. Bitcoin's 250% rise over the past year has catapulted the Central American nation's Bitcoin treasury to over $206 million as of Tuesday, a 69% gain on initial capital. Data shows that El Salvador acquired its 2,681 Bitcoin at an average cost of $42,600.
President Bukele often announces these Bitcoin purchases via his Twitter account, providing transparency to the public. The government has also launched an official site, which offers insights into El Salvador's Bitcoin investments. As of now, El Salvador holds around 5,931 Bitcoins, valued at over $540 million, reflecting the country's significant commitment to integrating cryptocurrency into its financial framework. Similarly, Florida's chief financial officer, Jimmy Patronis, has proposed adding Bitcoin to the state's pension funds.
We have about $800 million in crypto-related investments in our state portfolio, but I would not be shocked to be able to see that growing under a Trump administration in the near future. Look, as a fiduciary, I think it's very important. Look, I've got firefighters, I've got teachers, I've got state employees that we're trustees over their pension. I need to make sure that we're doing everything humanly possible to get the best return on their investment. And if we're not being open-minded to what crypto can do to diversify that portfolio, shame on us. So again, it's a direction that we're going to start to push. We're going to be prepared to seize the opportunities presented by, just as your show has been speaking to earlier, the change of what the administration can bring in the future financial outlook of our country, our world. And Florida is going to be prepared to do the most for our fiduciary responsibilities that we take so seriously.
This move treats Bitcoin as a strategic asset, akin to gold, aiming to diversify the financial reserves and hedge against economic volatility and inflation. It highlights the growing trend of recognizing digital assets as potential components of reserve strategies, with states like Wisconsin and Michigan also adding crypto to their pension investments. Wisconsin invested $163 million in Bitcoin ETFs, while Michigan included both Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. MicroStrategy, led by Michael Saylor, famously leveraged Bitcoin by using debt to acquire over 152,000 Bitcoins. This bold strategy has paid off, with the company's Bitcoin investments up 825% since they began.
But it's been a great journey. Since August 10th of 2020, MicroStrategy's bought about $8.3 billion worth of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's up 44% a year on average since then. The S&P's up 12%. And since we levered it, we're up 825%. The number one performing stock in the S&P is NVIDIA, up 821% as of Friday. So we beat every single company in the S&P index using a Bitcoin strategy.
Tesla followed suit, making headlines by purchasing $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin and retaining a substantial amount even after selling some of its holdings. Meanwhile, Microsoft is also exploring the potential of Bitcoin, with shareholders set to vote on a proposal to assess investing in the asset. These corporate decisions highlight the growing belief in Bitcoin's potential as a strategic reserve asset. The arms race to acquire Bitcoin has indeed begun, with countries, states, and corporations all turning to this digital asset for its gains and potential as a reserve. To recap, on the U.S. political front,
Chancellor has already made that decision to step down. He put out a press release with a quote in it that a number of people took note of, where he said, "It's been a great honor to serve with them," the people who work at the SEC, "doing the people's work and ensuring our capital markets remain the best in the world." Trump also said the federal government will never ever sell its Bitcoin holdings, which they own through criminal assets, as you know. And number 3, he said he would create a Bitcoin and crypto presidential advisory council, where Trump said, quote, "The rules will be written by people who love your industry, not hate your industry." And he also advocated that all future Bitcoins would be minted in America. I don't know that he gets to make that choice, but there you have it.
The future of Bitcoin and crypto is looking more bullish than ever before. We're glad you're here with us, following along this journey and enjoying the wild ride, hopefully filled with gains. If you like Bitcoin, drop a like, and we hope to see you in our next educational video.